Hey, what's up, squad? From Reach Suite, I'm Colin Smith, and welcome to the Cold Ones Podcast. It's a podcast with chilly questions and even colder ice cream. And today, we're joined by my dear friend, Mallorie Maranda. You know her as the VP of Sales at Workramp, former head of mid-market sales at Envoy, and USC's Italian Club president? Yeah, I think that sounds right. Welcome to the show, Mallorie.
Thanks so much, Colin. Excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. So we always pick a special ice cream. We don't just send you anything. We strategically select the ice cream for you. And so do you have your ice cream ready?
I do.
I have mine. I always my little ice cream cone. So the first one is Rocky Road. Tillamook Rocky Road. That looks really good.
You splurge with the Tillamook. That's the fancy stuff.
I know we went luxury for you, Mallory. Rocky Road I picked for you because I looked at your LinkedIn when I was preparing for a conversation. I saw you were I got it pulled up here, a legal intern. You worked at Scripps Healthcare as a health administration, which my background in healthcare as well, so it has a special spot for me. And then you even wrote a paper called The Limits of Non-Proliferation and the Origins of the Iraq War.
Correct.
Now, you're leading a very high growth software as a service, Workramp LMS system. And that's a very unique path to get there. I wouldn't say it was rocky because it seems like all great roles, but it is one hell of a road. And so,
yeah.
Rocky Road for you.
I love it. I was that classic person who said, I will never go into sales. And here I am. I love it. Imagine doing anything else.
Well, good. Sometimes I think there's a book called The Generalist Over the Specialist. You read this book or heard of it?
No, I don't think so.
Let me pull it up. Yeah, it's a really interesting book. Someone bought it for me once. I read some of it. But it's basically about if you look at world-class athletes and you look at like a lot of world-class just operators in their craft, science, research included, they are truly generalists. A lot Odell Beckham Jr., right? He actually went to LSU for like soccer, baseball, and football. He was like a all-state triathlete. And then also this interesting research around scientists who win what's it? Not Pulitzer, the Peace Award. Yeah, Nobel Peace Prize have like a 40 times higher likelihood to also be simultaneously working on research that's unrelated to their Nobel Peace Prize.
Interesting.
Versus those who haven't. So I wonder if there's something with like working in healthcare administration / legal intern / studying, geopolitics that has made you a more generalist to become a VP of sales.
Yeah, I think there's something there. I think too, all of those tie back to humans and people, and that's what sales is. It's working with people at the end of the day. Not that much more complicated than that.
That's a common thread.
Yeah, I would say so.
Well, Mallory, thank you again for joining us. We're going to start with rapid fire. I like to say, humanizing the guests that we have on the show because y'all are very accomplished, well-respected, in this case, revenue leaders. And I think, we had Mark Koskell on recently, and people see them often, and you and sometimes just as like really influential talking heads on LinkedIn, and we want to bring you down to like a human level. Like, what do what is Mallorie Miranda's life like? And so I'm gonna hit you with a couple rapid fire.
Yeah.
Part one. Cool.
Let's do it.
All right, let's jump into it. What kind of car do you drive?
Audi Q3, black. I love it. I share it with my husband though, so honestly, I walk most places because he usually has the car, but it's a great car.
Nice. Audi Q3 black. Oh, do we have any rims? We keep rims stock. Have we blacked out the rims?
It's just the standard rims.
Okay. Standard.
I'm not even sure I know exactly what a rim is, but standard rims.
Yeah, I think standard. What are those? Is that on the roof?
Yeah. Right.
All right. I imagine we have a lot of folks that come to the show that are very high achievers, high execution oriented. And I'm always curious, how do you start your day? What does your morning routine look like?
This is part of my personal brand, so anyone who works with me knows this. I have a very regimented morning routine. Every single day, it's the exact same. I get up, I do a yoga class. I've done a yoga class every day for the past year and a half. And then I have my athletic green juice. Then I make an herbal tea while I make my breakfast, which is the same thing every day, a veggie omelet with avocado toast and prosciutto, because I'm a little fancy. And then once I'm done with the breakfast, I make an almond milk latte and I sit in front of my computer and I start my day. And I genuinely go to bed every night so excited to wake up in the morning and do that all over again.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so yoga, athletic greens, amazing omelet with prosciutto on the avocado toast. And then you said almond, did you say almond
latte? Mm-hmm.
And then boom, you're ready to go. You're sitting
I'm ready to go.
And so you did that this morning?
Of course.
What do you do the yoga?
Peloton. I'm a huge Pelotoner. I have the bike, the treadmill, and the rower, and then I do their yoga and strength classes as well.
Well, there's an episode coming out next week with Andy Hershey, the CRO at Sovos, amazing guy, and he invites everyone to add him. He already did on our podcast, rather. Rockstar Andy. So if you want to get Andy Hershey on Peloton, go add him in Rockstar Andy.
Love it. Everyone can add me. I'm Ricky's mom 11. Ricky is my dog. But I love it. I will be adding Andy. That's great.
We're gonna start. I gotta get a Peloton, I guess. We gotta start like an alumni, Cold Ones alumni Peloton ride.
I'm down.
That's pretty funny. Okay. Last rapid fire, most recent purchase, 250 or 250 bucks.
I went on it must be these. I went on like a concert purchasing spree. So got some tickets this summer. Got a lot of good folks coming to Denver. I think I got Third Eye Blind, who I saw last year. Amazing. Alanis Morissette, and then I got Stevie Nicks tickets. So all of those must have been over 250.
What a lineup.
Yeah.
What a lineup.
Yeah. It's going to be a good summer.
You said you've seen Third Eye Blind. Have you seen Alanis Morissette?
No.
I don't want to mess this one up. She's the one that did I've got one hand in.
Yeah. She's like when you think of 90s little girl. Yeah.
Oh, she's awesome. Where are they coming to in Denver?
I think it's Ballerina. Third Eye Blind is at Red Rocks, I think. That's my favorite concert venue. But,
I was going to ask. I was like, have you been to Red Rocks? On it?
Yeah.
I've been to Red Rocks only to hike around it. I've not been to a concert. It's on the bucket list.
Yeah, it's great.
It's on the bucket list. All right. That's ice cream 1. That's personal rapid fire.
We're
transitioning to ice cream 2.
Okay.
We have it?
Yes, we do.
And I know I'm asking a lot of questions, but please feel free to dive into the ice cream. I don't want you to miss out on some morning cream here. So again, we strategically select Mallorie ice cream for you. And I saw the orange sherbet and I said, gingers unite. Because I got a little ginger here. You can't tell. But gingers unite with the orange sherbet. How is it?
A little medicinal, but good. Not horrible.
I think that one's just generic Kroger brand. So it's going to make the Tillamook look real good.
Yeah, I think I would be more partial to the Tillamook, but it's good. It's like a nice morning flavor, I would say. It's basically like eating a clementine, you know? Okay,
there we go. Well, Knuckles Gingers Unite.
Love it.
I'm feeling very proud this morning. All right, so we're going to jump into some professional. I'm really excited to dive into these topics. You ready? Good to go? Okay. So I know at Envoy you were head of mid-market sales. You moved on to now being the VP of sales at Workramp. As I understand, I could be wrong, Workramp done a phenomenal job of really owning the mid-market space.
Yep.
Okay. So I think it would be fair to say that you spent a lot of your time thinking about mid-market sales, which to me is an interesting segment because mid-market sales is larger buying committees, larger ACVs, just more intense than just your generic like SMB velocity.
Yep.
But it's not quite enterprise. So it's an interesting middle ground. Do you agree?
Yeah, I would.
Okay. So I think what tactics do you believe work well in SMB, but not in mid-market, and what enterprise, but not in mid-market? And then we can also do vice versa.
Yeah. So I think in SMB, you see a lot of exec to exec outreach and title matching. So we've done this at Workramp, we do this at Envoy, right? Where at Workramp, if we have a sales enablement manager who's evaluating our LMS, I'll reach out to their VP of sales and say, hey, VP of sales to VP of sales, I'm here for you throughout the evaluation. Also happy to talk with you about how we leverage Workramp internally. That works well. I've found in SMBs, you try to do that more upmarket, more of your upper mid-market or enterprise, you can get burned. People can be really upset if you went over their heads. You know, sometimes there's a very strict evaluation committee and you cannot talk to anyone outside of that. So I found that you have to be a little bit more political in who you're reaching out to as you get to the upper side of mid-market, whereas in more SMB, you can be more of that, you know, really casual CEOs reaching out to CEOs, building those relationships. It feels much more casual. And sometimes that doesn't fly up market. I don't know if you've noticed that as well.
Yeah. I mean, it just gets more formal, right? I have noticed that. And I actually have an interesting take on mid-market versus enterprise, but we'll save that for after. What do you feel like works well in enterprise, though, that doesn't work in mid-market?
So I think in enterprise, you really, like, things like medic are there for a reason. And you really can't cut corners in the sales process. You can't skip the technical validation. You can't skip the exec buy-in call. You really follow medic, make sure medic is truly filled out, because if you don't, you might miss something really crucial in enterprise sale. In mid-market though, what I've seen is reps who are trained in medic and they stay so on medic, or they really have their process of we need to do this and this and this. And sometimes you need to deviate from that.
Yeah.
It pains me to say this. Sometimes you have to demo on the first call in mid-market because these customers, these prospects, they're more casual themselves in their evaluation process. They maybe have a tight timeline. They don't have a big committee. They're scrappy themselves. So you have to meet them where they're at versus forcing your process on them, which I think that process works better in enterprise sales.
Oh, 100%. You think about like the reason, like, and just using Reach as a case study here, the reason why we do so well with commercial sales leaders, not us selling to commercial sales, but selling to leaders of commercial sales, is because they're selling oftentimes to end users or one level above, and they really want to get their hands on the product. Versus enterprise, right? You're speaking to potentially, a VP that is 6 layers above the end user,
Right.
or a proposal, manager, or someone in that RFP process that would be offended if you try to get them in the platform.
Yep.
Right? It just doesn't work. It's not as valuable.
Yep.
What this isn't totally relevant, but it's like something that I think about. Oftentimes in SaaS, especially in like the startup or high growth sectors, we consider companies enterprise that aren't actually enterprise.
Of course.
So DocuSign, awesome organization, love have some great relationships there. I've always considered them at Reach Suite as like an enterprise customer.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my buddy who works for AWS, Amazon Web Services, and DocuSign is considered like a lower mid-market customer, like prospect for them. But to me, they're like, oh, like
It's all relative.
yeah, it is. It is. Okay. So what is your most controversial take about mid-market sales? Like, relates to the motion, the messaging, the strategy, the profile of the rep you like to hire. Like, what's something that you've learned over the last few years of really spending a lot of time in mid-market sales that you think more people should consider, or you'd like to at least share with the world, that might be a little controversial?
Yeah. My hot take is we know sales isn't easy. I'm not trying to say sales is easy, but mid-market sales can be quite simple. And people forget that. So I have 4 tenets that make you good at mid-market sales. Pick up the phone, set an agenda before every call, send a follow-up as soon as the call is done, put expiration dates on discounts, ask why until you get to pain. As long as you're doing that, you'll be successful. I have pretty strong conviction around that. And so, I'm seeing on LinkedIn like flavor of the month, this is how you negotiate. These are the new tactics here. This is how you should be rethinking your discovery. I think if you stick to those core principles of like simple selling, you'll do just fine. Um, and I think with that, how I think about my hiring profile for mid-market AEs is I look for discipline because mid-market's not as high volume as SMB, but there's still a decent amount of volume. You're still working with hopefully primarily inbound leads, and it can be really easy to cut corners, be a little bit sloppy, not work the ops as hard as you need to because they came inbound, they're definitely going to buy. And so I think that when I'm hiring for that profile, like I want someone who above all is really disciplined in their trade and will stick to those fundamentals and will just repeat those over and over again because they'll see success.
How do you suss out this? I think that is a golden nugget right there. That might be the preview snapshot. How do you suss out discipline in your interview process?
Yeah, so actually you asked me about my morning routine. I ask candidates about their morning routine. I'm curious what they do. Does every day look different? And no shade if it does, but you help understand a little bit about how they run their day. I ask them, how did you prepare for this interview? And then I ask if they say, I researched you on LinkedIn. I say, what did you find about me on LinkedIn? So I want to see like what are they doing before? How are they showing up for the interview? Because that's how they're going to show up for each day at work. That's how they're going to show up for their calls. How do you structure your day? What happens when you get something unexpectedly put on your plate? How do you switch your priorities there? That helps you understand like how disciplined they are, and does one thing just totally throw them off, or are they able to course correct really quickly?
Yeah, I really like that. The morning routine question is one that I used to ask for the same reason. I just want to know what kind of person you are.
Yeah.
And again, no shade. I mean, I've got a lot of friends that roll out of bed 15 minutes before their first Zoom and they crush it. Like they're very successful. Not me, not my style, but I like to kind of, I think it's a leading indicator. I have found that sales is one of those unique roles where the interview process can be really indicative of how you're going to be.
Oh yeah.
And we're lucky for that, right? Because
Yeah.
that's it'd be hard to be an accountant. Like the interview process, I guess you can do some of the some exercises to maybe get an understanding of their skill set. But one thing that a policy I have when I interview is if you don't follow up with me within 24 hours,
Mm-hmm.
out of the process.
Mm-hmm.
I don't follow up, not because I don't think better. I'm testing, right? And if a candidate rather doesn't follow up within 24 hours, like they're automatic. It doesn't matter how
Yep.
they how they shine.
I love
Um,
that.
okay, so I know Jack Foster a little bit, one of your peers, one of your colleagues. I know she's a very badass chief marketing officer, and shout out to her.
Mhm.
Uh, Tell me about the relationship and working really closely with your CMO, especially in mid-market, like you mentioned, a lot of inbound,
Yep.
which is often owned by at least partially with the marketing team.
Mhm.
I'd like to just dig into wherever you want to go with this question, rules of engagement, inbound leads. How are y'all working together on ABM campaigns? Tell me a little bit about a CRO, or in your case, VP of sales, CMO relationship, how to make it successful.
Yeah. There has to be a foundation, of course, of like trust and mutual respect, which Jack and I absolutely have. And I'm so lucky and grateful for that. I think something that, people, you have to document in terms of rules of engagement. You just have to document, document, document. And I don't care how small you are. At Workramp, we documented this when we were very early stage. And that helped us as we grew because we documented clearly what's an MQL, what's an SAL, what's an SQL, when does the inbound rep get credit, what are the nuanced scenarios where an outbound rep would actually get credit. And that was very clearly documented, and we're open to revisiting it. Every half, do we need to change this? But it's documented, it's there, and there's no exceptions. So it helps with a lot of this like back and forth ambiguity. I think that it's really hard to start documenting that once you've reached a certain stage, but if it's always been the case, it's easier to tweak. Um, and then also, I have to also give a shout out, Mikey Powell. He's our director of RevOps. If you have a strong RevOps function, that can help with this relationship so much because Mikey and his team, they own all of our reporting. And so I've been at companies where marketing's running their reports and sales are running their reports and they're different. And so it's like, what's the source of truth? For us, we've consolidated that all under RevOps, and that is the source of truth. That is what we use. We have a pipeline forecast meeting every Friday. We're looking at that. So we're all speaking the same language, and that's helped tremendously for us.
I think we found a new preview potentially, and it's about the strength of RevOps and the importance
Yeah.
of RevOps. I noticed this at one of my former organizations when each team was responsible for, or functional leader was responsible for their reporting. It's almost like grading your own paper, right? It's kind of
Absolutely.
like grading your own paper. And everyone's doing the best of their ability. They're transparent, honest as a core, value in every organization. And I believe these people have the right intention. But you kind of go in, hey, pull up the filters for that.
Yeah.
Things are getting like real interesting there. And there's really seemingly rock solid rationale. But I
Mhm.
think what you're talking about, Mallory, is first off the alignment of marketing and sales and how critically important that is, but then bringing everything into RevOps as that central kind of neutral third party for reporting through definitions, through holding accountable,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Absolutely.
Um, okay, interesting. And in terms of like ABM, are you all running ABM plays? Is that something that's important to you?
Very lightly. We're dipping
Okay.
our toes into ABM this year.
Okay.
Mhm.
So then we'll switch back off that and then back into what you're talking about documenting. When you say documenting, do you go as far as just you're writing it down in like an SOP somewhere, or are you like building that into the workflow automations of your CRM?
Both. So it's all documented in Confluence. Everyone has access to that, but it's also the way that we run reports, the filters we put on our reports in the CRM, the automations that an inbound lead goes through, and how that kind of works through the funnel. So it's everywhere.
That's the last mile, I think, detail that a lot of organizations miss is yes, you can use Confluence or use your Google Docs for documenting these different SALs and SOPs. But if you don't build it into your actual workflow automation CRM, and a lot of people don't,
Mhm.
like it's pretty interesting how large organizations I've worked at that did not build these workflow automations. It kind of just becomes like, first off, it's manual and you're relying on the humans, right? You're relying on human error and human attention to detail. It's just not it's not a recipe for success.
I
I
agree.
think it's a lesson there. Okay, so success is team sport. We've already talked about RevOps, the importance of RevOps, and Mikey Powell. When you think about your career at Envoy and Workramp, and even if you want to go all the way back to Salesforce or when you were a legal intern, who are some support roles, right? Whether it be RevOps, or the SDRs, or be your SEs, your ABM demand gen leaders, who are the support roles that maybe aren't front and center that you want to just give a quick shout out and say thank you to for helping your team and your success?
Yeah, I think SEs, the solutions engineers, are probably one of the most underutilized resources at most organizations. There's a hot take for you. I have to say, SEs are so valuable for your sales cycle. And if you are using them for technical calls and as demo dailies, you're doing it wrong. They can be so powerful in helping you multi-thread within an organization. at Workramp, what we do, we bring an SE on a call. After the call, the SE runs their own follow-up with points of contact, the more technical people, and then the AE runs their own email chain with their follow-up to their end users. And there we go. We've created like a multi-thread. We've also created a thread where maybe we'll actually get more valuable information from the technical team that we didn't know about, that our champion maybe isn't telling us. So we're really using that SE as like little spy that's going in to our deals and uncovering a ton of helpful information. And they're just incredible storytellers too. And so I have to give a shout out throughout my career. I've had the pleasure of working with just incredible solutions engineers that have really been equal partners in getting the deals across the line.
No doubt. Is there anyone that comes to mind? Because we'll tag, be like, hey, Mallory wants to give you some shout out for all the help you've given her career.
Love it. My first ever SC, he has now pivoted to a different career, but this is Kevin Lee. We worked together at Relate IQ, which was acquired by Salesforce. And he was just such a salesperson, solutions engineer, such a brilliant guy. And then most recently, our director of solutions engineering, who's also our director of enablement here at Workramp, is Erin Paw. And she runs that team incredibly well, but she is also not afraid to get on an important call and just help us out. You know, she's one of those leaders who's not afraid to get her hands muddy. And, you know, she also runs our enablement, which is another unsung hero, incredible supporting staff for the account executives. So really grateful to them.
SE and SE, sales enablement and sales engineering.
I've never seen it done like that before. And now I think I might always go that route. You have to find the right person to do it, but someone who's technical enough to be able to do a lot of that product enablement, but then also has the sales skills to do the actual like sales soft skills enablement. It's just a magic combination.
Okay, I was going to ask why. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, I've worked with some sales enablement leaders in the past that have really over-indexed in one direction or the other. They've been really heavy product. And like you'd go to an SKO and it'd be like 4 days of product knowledge. And then you have the sharpest products, you know, sellers in the market, but you know, maybe they have some soft skills that they could tweak and they didn't end up getting past discovery call. And then other side is, you know, sales enablement leaders that maybe over-index on they just love sales skills, and they're sales gurus. They're probably ex-sales reps. They love the art of the sale, the art of the deal. But then they don't do anything with your new products, and people are going to the field like, well, I don't know what it is. Who can I call about this, right?
Great. Yep.
That's interesting. Well, good. I'm glad we got a shout out for Erin Paul. Okay. We have come to the last question, Mallory, and it's one that I ask literally every single person. When you think about your career, you think about your journey from USC through the rocky road we chatted about, but not so rocky, more like a nice candy road than rocky road. And you think about, you know, getting to Workramp, which is such an amazing company and high growth company. Would you attribute this success in this path to luck or hard work?
The short answer is that it's both. I think I was very lucky to be born into an environment where I could get a great education and I wasn't working from behind. So that's luck, truly. From there, though, I believe in sales karma. I believe if you put in the right work, I don't know if it's hard work. I think it's smart work and discipline. If you put that in, you're setting yourself up to get lucky. That's just, I don't know if that's a little woo-woo of me, but I do believe that if you're doing the right things and you're really disciplined in your craft and you're really motivated, good things will come to you. It's, you know, you're putting out something in the universe and the universe is going to give it back. So it's both, but you can't just count on luck. You have to set yourself up for success.
Yeah, I like the way you kind of bifurcated that. Like, yeah, there's some luck, obviously, going to being born in the family, going to a great school. There's some luck. There's a lot of luck in that. That was totally not up to you. But then from there, you owned your shit and you really got it done. I haven't heard someone put it like that. I've heard a lot of people do say both. A lot of people say preparation, you know, meets opportunity, you know. But I like the way that's framed up. All right, Mallory, you made it through another cold one. No brain freezes. I hope you enjoyed the ice cream.
I did.
So,
thank you.
as we depart, tell our audience what's going on in your neck of the woods over the next year. Plug whatever you want.
Yeah, really exciting things happening at Workramp. We, about 2 months ago, just released 2 new products. So our core products are our employee learning management system and then our learning management system for customer education. And so to each of those products, we've added a new product line to that. So content management system, a CMS, you know, to host all of your sales collateral, all of your internal knowledge, and then a customer community platform on our customer education cloud. So that allows you to create discussion boards, forums with your customer base to help with kind of that customer community aspect. So really excited for what's to come. We're growing this year. So yeah, really proud of the team.
and some definitely some yoga in the future and some big concerts.
Every day. Yes, exactly. Excited for that.
Mallory, thank you for your time as always. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Colin.